Hello, welcome to another video from Betfair Trading Community. Today I'm going to talk to you about the value of split testing. I'm going to show you how I do it, and I want to make this really user friendly, okay? So when you're looking at a screen like this right now, you might see like a wall of data here and be like, what the hell? I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm going to show you kind of a way that anyone can do it. Because you've all seen those really fancy spreadsheets, right, that are dead confusing and most people aren't going to be able to use. Today I want to show you how to do this on a fairly simple one. And I think if this goes well, this might be a template that we try and create for you guys so that you can help run your strategies in a similar way. If you are interested in that, let me know in the comments and that will make me realize whether it's worth doing or not. But let's get into it. Okay, because split testing is absolutely key if you want to create a successful trading strategy on Betfair. Split testing, if you don't know, is simply the principle of splitting your test. So you have a test A and a test B. Now, the way I split test is if I tweak a strategy, I will keep my original strategy, and that in theory will be split test A. So that will be the A version. And then I'll create a new version, which I then test moving forward as well, but I keep the original. So my split test is I keep the original, and then I look at the one that's been slightly adapted as well. And I run them alongside each other and compare the results. And the reason for doing this is that you will then see, well, did that tweak actually help? Does it make more money? Is it more profitable? Or did it make things worse? Did you just backfit? Did you kind of over test it and only cherry pick the best bits? So I'm going to get into a bit of what I do today. I'm going to show you as well kind of how simple this is to do. So the first thing I want to do is I've downloaded my selections for the day from the Betfair Trading Community stats software. As you can see here in column A, these are all the strategy names, okay? Now this is a file that just exports straight from our site. So I haven't had to do anything here. I haven't had to work it all out. This is how it comes out in its format as a CSV file, okay? And as you can see, all my strategies are here. What I'm going to do to start with, there's only one strategy I want to look at today, and that is super over 2.5 goals. So I'm actually going to delete all the other rows with the other strategies on, just so that I get this one strategy to look at, and it should make it easier for us. And there you go. You can see these are selections today. Now, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this into a sheet, and the sheet that's been designed has been designed in a way that will tell me whether these bets are actually value or not, and then I'll look to split test them to see whether actually I can kind of improve it further. But the first thing I'm going to do for this is I'm just going to delete the home selection and away selection. I'm also going to delete all the difference and rating columns, which are the ones next to the first columns. The criteria 1 val columns are the ones that are basically what your filter is telling you. So let's say I've gone for I want 10 plus shots per match on target. Well, if that's my first criteria value will say 11.7 if that's the average, and there I'll know, okay, that's why it qualified. So it's very simple in that respect. I'm just going to delete these really quickly and show you how to do that again. This can be quite good unless you're using the difference and rating, which I don't use very often. Not to say they shouldn't be used or they aren't any good, it just makes it easier to get it into my sheet. And as you'll see in a second, you'll see the reason I'm doing this is because ultimately what I'm trying to do is get a sheet that will be able to tell me whether a bet's value or not. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. Okay, so we've got this all done now. Now what I need to do next is I'm just going to select from the date here. But if you create a sheet, you can use obviously all the columns. I just use less columns to make it easy. Now, this is my actual spreadsheet, okay? And as you can see here, I've got the selections. They're the same kinds of selections. And these are all the values that you saw a minute ago, okay? So these are the columns. If we scroll up, we can see what these columns are. So home shots, away shots, home shots on target, away shots. So all things like this. And the final one here is the market over 2.5 goal odds, which again is going to be a huge determining factor as to whether it's profitable, whether it's a value play. So as I scroll down here, you can see we've had quite a few selections here, which is what got me to the point where I started to want to split test it. But I'm going to paste these results for today in. And as you can see, just by doing that, the results have all been pasted in. But what have we got here? We have got column P tells us whether this is in theory a value bet or not a value bet, so something we're not going to bet on. And as you can probably see, the non-value bets, odds of 1.5 for over 2.5 or 1.67, in general they're going to be the shorter prices, but it means that according to the stats we've got, these aren't good value. So I'm just going to delete those rows. Now, you could keep these rows in and then split test and work and have a look at the no bets versus the bets and see whether it's actually, correcting the value right. But I've done that before and I'm quite happy with the way this is set up in that regard. That's not something I want to split test right now. But again, that might be something you do yourself. So I'm just going to delete all these rows. And as you can see, what I've done so far is fairly simple, right? You'll all be able to just copy and paste, hopefully copy and paste a bit of data into a spreadsheet. And if you can't, you can just watch a video on how to do it. It's very simple. But once you've got that in place, you can see, well, these are selections for today, okay? Now, this strategy is very much still in testing. Let me scroll up. I just want to see when we started it. So we started it in May. It's now only end of July, well, middle of July, sorry. So it's still only had 2 months. It's still fairly fresh, okay? And at the time of writing, £10 stakes, it's £303 up. Brilliant, okay? But one thing that you might find interesting is as we scroll here, you can actually see that it got to £300 on the 113th bet. So in the last, 500, 600 bets, it's broken even. And that's got me to the point where I'm like, okay, I kind of expect that kind of variance when you're betting on over 2.5 goals and you're just betting outright. We're just betting £10. We're letting it run. If there's 3 goals, you win. If not, you lose. And the nice thing here is when you input how many goals there are, it tells you the profit. So let's say we bet 1.71 here. As you can see, Fredrikstad, I'll just highlight that. So the odds are here, 1.71. Well, let's say I say there was 5 goals. Automatically, you can see the profit and loss column comes to 7.1. And then we add that to the final total. Okay, so that's really interesting. It's actually very easy to do this. You just input a little bit of data yourself and you can track using a sheet like this. Absolutely fantastic, okay? Love the spreadsheet, but that's not why we're here today. I was a little bit worried about that variance because the thing is, for most people, if you're going 500-600 bets and you're not making money, even if you've made 30 points profit already, it's going to frustrate you, and I totally get that. So I wanted to come up with a way to decrease the variance. Now, with this strategy, it's just been blanket tested. We've not been looking at removing odds. We've not been looking at removing leagues. We've not even been looking at what time of the season it is. So one of the things I wanted to do on the first split test is remove games that are at the start of the season and at the end of the season. And what I mean by that is that the teams have either only played less than 4 matches at the start of the season or less than 4 matches at the end of a season. Okay, so if there's 4 matches to go at the end of a season, I'm not going to trade it. And if they've only played 4 matches of that season, I'm not going to trade it. Reason is, first 4 games, the data of the teams is very difficult to take too seriously, okay, because there's not a lot of data to go on. Now, you might want to extend that even further. You might want to go up to, say, 10 games. That's up to you. And then the last 4 games, I feel like a lot of the time teams don't have the same motivation. Sometimes the league's over. I mean, look at Liverpool's last 4 games this season. You might have even gone back further with them because the title was wrapped up so early. So I always find with Betfair trading, and we'll find out whether this is true in the split test, and that's why it's worth doing, but I've always felt that you're much better off when the teams are kind of in that mid-season mode where they've hit their stride, they're in their form, and you can kind of try and predict what they're going to do. Because we want to be able to predict things, right? That's how you make money trading on Betfair. You make good predictions, right? The tougher it is to predict, the more difficult it can be for Betfair traders to make money, no matter what the sport is, football, horse racing, whatever. So anyway, I wanted to do this. And today, what I've done is I created a 2.5 goals split stake. Basically, the split test, sorry, not split stake. Basically, this is the same sheet. Okay, exactly the same as you can see here, dates, teams, etc. But I've removed teams that have only played less than 4 games that season, or they've got 4 or less games left to go that season. So today I'm just looking at this straight off the bat. So Santos, Flamenco is overnight, isn't it? We've got Fredrikstad. So they're all games that are in the prime of their season. So a lot of this is Brazil, obviously, and America. You can see tonight. So there's not a ton of games that aren't part of the season here, but Santos Laguna is. So Santos Laguna haven't played that many games this season. So what I'll do is I'll quickly show you why Santos Laguna wouldn't qualify for my criteria here. But I'm still keeping it, remember, in this original split test. As you can see, it will still be recorded. Santos Laguna, right? Well, we're in the Apertura. And if you don't know, the Mexican league here splits into two. So it has kind of two half seasons. Lots of leagues in South America do this. But the most important thing you can look at here, and all I've Googled here is their results, okay? So all you have to do is put the team name in the results, and you will see the league itself. And you can see Mexico's only played one game, right? So they wouldn't qualify here because that's just not enough data, okay? So in the split test, I won't include them, and their result won't be included. And like I say, this isn't about me saying I think I'm right and therefore this is the best thing you can do. I'm saying this is the best thing you can do because it will tell you whether you're right or wrong. I might be wrong. This strategy might work better if you just trade any time in the season. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I'm still very early on. I mean, I started this on the 14th. Let's have a look. We're on 291 on the 14th. So we're £12 up. In the last couple of days since I started this. And this one's £11.50 up. So about the same, right? But nowhere near enough data yet. We've only had, 6 selections so far on this one. 7 selections. So it's really important that when you're split testing, you get a good amount of data as well. But I don't know if this will work or not. It might not work, but it's well worth doing. Now, what would I do after this? Let's say I split test it and I work out, it's better to get rid of those start of season, end of season games. Then I'd start to look at probably odds ranges next and really dive into, well, maybe I can split test the odds ranges. Maybe I can find odds ranges that this really works well for and odds ranges that this doesn't work well for. And as you can see, what you're doing here is very clever because you're not just backfitting. You're not just over going, I'm going to get rid of everything that doesn't work straight away in X, Y, and Z. And you're still keeping the original filter. So if you do make a tweak and you make an error, it doesn't cost you because you still have this original strategy. You still have this original filter within your software. Now, on the Betfair Trading Community software, you can actually filter out based on games played that season at the start of the season. You can't do it for the end of the season. So that is something you'd have to check yourself. But like I say, one of the beautiful things is, I know that Liga MX is on its first round of games now. I know for the next couple of weeks at least, maybe longer, I'm not going to be trading this league. That's in my head. I know that Brazil is in full flow. I know that America's in full flow and they've got a few more weeks left before they get towards the end of the season. I also know that they don't split their leagues into one half league, okay? The other thing I don't really like is trading playoffs. Again, very different to league form, very different to league matches. And this strategy, again, hasn't been tracking that. And if you're backing over 2.5 goals and you're backing a playoff game, probably not ideal because teams play them very tight usually. And often you'll get 1-0s, 0-0s or 2-0s in playoff games, which obviously is really going to hurt an over 2.5 goal strategy. So anyway, that's kind of the basics of split testing. I hope I've explained it well. I've tried to kind of show you an example of it in a simple way that doesn't make it overly complex. And the reason for that is that I think a lot of people get put off doing split testing and they think it's too much effort, it's too much work. But remember, one of the beautiful things about this is your selections are always going to be pretty much the same. So here, right, all of these selections in my original filter are going to be in this filter, the split test filter. So essentially, I'm not having to get 2 lots of games. I'm not having to track different scorelines. When I do the results of this one, I can pull this spreadsheet up on another page, right opposite it, if you've got 2 screens like I have, and then I can just copy over the results that I already know. And so it takes just a few seconds. Once you've got that initial page set up, that's what will take a little bit of time. But like I say, if this goes well, I'm quite happy to kind of try and create something like this for all you guys to use. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. Our Betfair trading community, if you're not already a member, come check us out. We do a half price first month. We also give you a strategy to work with and a spreadsheet to start with. So we basically give you the tools to just get on with it, learn how to trade, and hopefully make some money trading on Betfair. If you want a copy, I've got some free strategies I'm happy to share with you. If you want a copy of those, just say free in the comments and I will send those over to you. We've got football and horse racing, so maybe specify if you want horse racing, let me know. Obviously, lightspeedstats.com is what we use for horse racing, but it's the same thing, half price first month. We're giving you really cheap options now. We know the cost of living is difficult, so we're giving you really cheap entry options to check out the software and see if it can make some money for you and it's worth you doing and using it for the foreseeable future. All right, guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope you get something from it. I hope you make some money trading on Betfair. Hope you have a great week and I'll be back very soon.